I'd just like to welcome you all to our Friday Inclusive Entrepreneur briefing, as we're becoming known, the Inclusive Entrepreneurs Online. What I'd like us to do today is if we could all introduce each other. What I will be doing today, I will actually be introducing one of our participants, Monzua, and I will read his introduction to you when we get started. Okay, so could I possibly please ask Helen if you'd introduce yourself please first?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Jacqueline, for inviting me to join this. I'm Helen Martin-G. I'm founder of Pink Shoe, a network for female leaders, a serial entrepreneur, non-executive director, and an angel investor, amongst other things. And I'm delighted to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. James?
I'm James Hull. I'm a singer-songwriter, musician based in the northwest of England. Yeah, excited to hear what you've all the discussion today.
Lovely, thank you. Lady Sharon?
Hello, I'm Lady Sharon. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all well on this very windy day. I'm Lady Sharon. I am the owner of Glamsticks, and I bespoke mobility aids for people with disabilities all around the world. Thank you.
Sarah?
Yes, I'm Sarah Meredith.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm the director of London Dyslexia Network, which is a company where we provide assessments and tuition for dyslexics and other people with other learning difficulties, children and adults. I specialise for people in the workplace, and I've been doing that for about 3 years now, and very happy to be here with the rest of you.
Lovely to see you. Aaron?
Afternoon, everyone. So I'm Aaron Hornback, founder and director of Horizon Health Network. We exist to help people in a holistic manner find a healthy lifestyle, particularly for universal inclusion to do with your job and how to stay well with all the different challenges that you face in the workplace.
That's lovely. Thank you. Ellie? Nice to see you.
My name's Ellie Kerr. I am one of the organisers of Merseyside Women of the Year, and I also run my own business. And I've done lots of events for universal inclusion.
Thank you. It's lovely to see you. Grant, are you okay to introduce yourself?
I run Ability Today, an online platform providing support for the disabled community. I'm disabled myself after a road accident 17 years ago, and we are very proud to have just launched our Academy for Disabled Journalists a couple of weeks ago, which we didn't think we were going to be able to do because of COVID, but we've taken all online. We now have visually impaired, hearing impaired, students with strokes, cerebral palsy, paralysis from all over the UK now studying for a certificate in foundation journalism. So very pleased to have got that off the ground. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Noreen?
Right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Those of you who know me, my name is Noreen Tusaria. I'm the founder and principal of Market Accents, which is a consultancy dealing with strategic thought leadership, marketing and communications. And we basically help companies to find their voice in the market and to find their space and to develop the thought leadership to stay there. I've been following the inclusive entrepreneur scene with Jacqueline, and it is really exciting to see you all here. So thank you, Jacqueline, for inviting me.
Thank you. Kush?
Hi, my name's Kush Kanodia. I'm a social entrepreneur, and I'm working with an organisation called Kaleidoscope Investments that invests in disabled entrepreneurs. Sorry, it's quite windy here, so if you don't hear me properly, apologies. Thank you.
That's fine, thank you. Mary?
Hi, my name is Mary Armitage, and I'm here today in my role as a meditation teacher and a worker with energy. And I'm hoping that if there's time, I'll get 5 minutes to run through a stress-busting exercise with everybody.
Thank you so much. Introducing one of our participants, Monzua, and I will read his introduction to you. Hello everybody, my name is Monzua Maya. I'm 40 years old and I have cerebral palsy. I use an electronic wheelchair to get around outside and a walking frame when indoors. I also use an electronic talk box and a basic BSL to communicate. Over the past 20 years, I have committed to the disability movement. I have worked for considerable periods of time within various organisations such as Scope, the Warsaw Partnership Board, the Warsaw Link, Health Watch, Warsaw Service Users Empowerment, and the National Centre for Independent Living. I have represented local disabled people as chair of my local Physical Disability and Sensory Impairment Board for 5 years, and I worked with my local council in an effort to form an ILC. I have also been a member and a supporter of DRUK since its inception. One of my aspirations has always been to become an entrepreneur. Over the past few months, I have started taking steps to start a business, selling artificial and wooden flowers. I have looked at various wholesalers and found one I would like to purchase from. I've also managed to find an accountant and secure a cabin at a garden centre where I can sell my products from. Unfortunately, due to the current situation, this has all been put on hold. In the future, I would also like to start selling products online through both Amazon and eBay. I'm aware that it could potentially take me a long time to build up my business, and I may face setbacks during this time. However, my long-term goal is to expand the business and have shops in multiple locations. I would also like to renovate and let out houses. The latter aspiration has come from me watching Homes Under the Hammer over numerous years. I'm hoping to be part of this group and that I can learn from other people's experiences and get support and advice. And you're very welcome, Monzo. So a little introduction to myself, for those of you that don't know me. So I'm Jacqueline Winstanley, the founder and CEO of Universal Inclusion and the Inclusive Entrepreneur. I'm an international advisor on increasing quality of access to life's opportunities, inclusive cities and organisations. Becoming a little bit of an author and a poet and public speaker, I lead on the Women in Enterprise APPG on diversity and inclusion, also Philia and within the Pink Shoe Club. I'm a trustee for DRUK. I chair the Independent Council for Caring Communities in respect of the Fellowships for Young Architects. I chair the Foundation for Independent Living Trust, Fluidity and Courage and Sparkle. I'm an Ability Today Advisory Board Chair and Ambassador for Glamsticks and the 50-50 Parliament campaign, and recently have taken a position on the New England Sports for Women Advisory Board. Okay, so welcome to the Friday briefing. What we're going to look at, as usual, our strapline is starting to be "This too will pass." We are weeks into lockdown. We are resilient. We are adapting. We're going to look at some generic business advice, some disability-related support, our health and wellbeing section, and showcase our inclusive entrepreneur, James Holt. Delighted to see you, James. And if we've time today, we'll have a quick question and answer. Thank you. In terms of generic business advice, those of you that are regular attendees for this session, you will know that we have a slide within the session that links to all of the current updated business support. And to be fair, there's not a great deal to add to this week's other than what's been going previously. I would like to know if people have been successful with their bounce back loan applications.
Lots of people I know have.
Right, it seems to be quite mixed.
Yeah,
And
lots of
found a
people I
problem.
know. I'm still waiting to hear 10 days in. I've been onto them again today.
Right.
Now,
okay.
my understanding of it is, if you're not successful with that particular bank, you can try again with another bank.
Right, that's fine.
Somebody I know applied twice, and then the third time they were lucky. But most people I know, and they've had grants of 5 up to 50k, they've been successful.
They've been fine. It does appear to be whichever bank you go to at the moment. Some are doing really well with it. Some are. There was, I think it was a Starling Bank were really struggling. Numbers of applications.
HSBC and NatWest are the two that are absolutely knocking it out of the park.
And Lloyds Bank are doing really well. So it's mixed. So I suppose the message there is, if you're not successful in the first instance, then try with another bank. And the Chancellor's very interested to know what your experience is, so we will pass that on. Thank you very much. In terms of the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme, the Chancellor is listening. There's been a further representation via the FSB and Disability Rights UK in terms of trying to extend that to cover particularly disabled people the way that they work within self-employment, because still, apart from that bounce back loan, if people are not successful with that, completely slipping through the cracks. There's very little to update on the business loans in terms of the cash grants that are available. We did discuss very briefly last time, there was a possibility that they were going to extend the disruption grant beyond people who were registered to pay business rates, but try as I might, I cannot find an authority that's looking to do that. So we've asked the Chancellor if he can confirm what the intent was there. And we're going to look at a little bit in respect of back to work. Quite a lot on here. This again is changing all the time. I think it's generally accepted though, even if you want to have a more detailed look at this in your own time, that the advice is, if you can do your job from home, stay at home, work from home. If you're unable to speak with your employer to see if you can get back into work. Obviously for us, it's if you have employees, and to have that negotiation. Try where possible not to use public transport, and look to travel locally if you can work locally. Very confusing, extremely confusing. There is a lot of discussion going on between unions, the health and safety executive. I've heard from colleagues who are not going to be taking their workforce back into the workplace. I've heard from colleagues who are extending working from home beyond October. So this is going to be very, very interesting times. But again, please have a look at this. It's quite detailed, and the link will take you through what the government advice is as they're updating it at the moment almost daily. Okay. In terms of disability related support, the issues remain the same. And when we have a look at the recommendations, that will become much clearer. I'm not going to duplicate it and say, because we cover it all in the recommendations, as in respect of what we've asked government to consider. We have had a response from government now. We've actually attended yesterday a joint APPG webinar which looked at the issues for disabled people and self-employment. It was very, very well attended, and what has come out of that for us is an invitation from MP Lisa Cameron to have some contact and conversation with her about the specific difficulties our members are facing. We will be taking that opportunity. It was a very, very interesting webinar. I think there was 56 entrepreneurs or associated supporting people on that webinar, and very clearly this is a huge area. That will have been a tiny proportion of the entrepreneurs that are out there, and the overriding thing that came from it, before we go into any detailed information in that regard, was people felt that there was a lack of support, and we will come back to that. What we have seen in respect of the Access to Work Award is they have put some new guidelines in place now in respect of COVID. It's quite comprehensive guidelines, and what I'm going to suggest to you to look at both the preparation for the conversation with Lisa Cameron and the Access to Work guidelines, that we do a separate strategy Zoom early next week, because it really is very detailed and would take up the full session today if we were to do that. There are some anomalies within the guidelines. They've clearly listened, which is nice, which does mean that some of our recommendations have got through, but equally they're not being interpreted correctly by some of the advisors, so that it's positive, areas that still need changing, and it's open to interpretation. But if everybody's okay with that, we will look at it in more detail early on in the week, because I know you're all going to have specific questions, and what I'd like to do is be able to give you all the appropriate time to deal with that. Our way forward, more of the same. We will continue to raise with policymakers what the issues are for us at the moment. As we've said from day one, we do not think this is that the Chancellor is not prepared to listen, that the government is not prepared to listen. The issues were just so vast that they were dealing with, and our voices were getting lost in the process. But there is definitely now an avenue for us to directly into government through Lisa Cameron to get our concerns aired and hopefully responded to. I'd like to talk about a little bit of good news in respect of disability related support. In response to the work we've done very quickly getting these briefings up and running following the lockdown, those of you that will be aware, I'm a fellow of the RSA, and I applied for a COVID Catalyst grant, and we've actually been awarded that funding to do 10 podcasts, and those podcasts are going to track 10 disabled entrepreneurs' experience following COVID and lockdown. So I'll be looking to you to volunteer, hopefully, to put yourselves forward to become one of the entrepreneurs featured in those podcasts. A moment in time, very honourable thing to do with the RSA, to capture this is really a very positive thing for us to be doing. Okay, I'm just going to go over these again. I know from my brief look at the Access to Work guidance, some of these have been responded to, some haven't. So we have asked the government to suspend the annual cap, particularly for people who are at cap limits and may need additionality throughout this period. To fast track any new claims, we do know at the moment that the government is still prioritising applications from people they consider to be key workers, which does need some discussion. To suspend the annual turnover requirement, those of you that know we have to meet a level of turnover to retain our award, it would be completely unfair for this to be happening at the moment under the circumstances. We've asked them to allow for longer access to the mental health strand of the award. It's essential at the moment that people are given longer than a 6-week block in view of everything that's happening to them. Fast track applications for any ergonomic adjustments from working from home, and that our award periods are to be extended for 2 years without review. In amongst all of this chaos, it would seem ridiculous to put us all through a review process. It puts additional pressure on us and additional pressure on the department. To fast track any additionality claims relating to support workers who are self-isolating or on 12-week lockdown. That the government recognises and considers the way disabled entrepreneurs manage their complex health conditions as entrepreneurs, and consider additional measures of support which do not require us to give up our Access to Work award as part of the process. And as we said earlier, to amend the Self-Employed Income Support Scheme to recognise the particular needs of disabled entrepreneurs. This is the exciting part of the session. So as you're aware, each session we do showcase one of our entrepreneurs, and I'm delighted today to welcome back James Holt. James is going to share his story with us, and then we're going to hear 2 singles. So over to you, James.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm James Holt. As Jacqueline said, I'm a singer-songwriter from Bolton in Manchester, or the Northwest. And yeah, did you want me to just kind of give you like a brief sort of history?
Yes, please.
Of my life. Yeah, so I've just been. So I started playing music when I was around 5 or 6. Started playing piano, and my parents. Well, what I used to do was they used to kind of bash on my. We had this old piano at home, and I used to just kind of always want to play on it and have a bash. And my parents decided to give me some piano lessons, and I think from there it's led to. I've started to pick up more instruments. I started to play guitar when I was 9, and cello when I was 11, and now I kind of try and play as many instruments as I can get my hands on, and I think kind of from the way that I've like learned and adapted these instruments have kind of influenced the music that I make now, because I record a lot of it myself, and I play each individual instrument and then kind of layer it up at home and record it at home in this room. And then I'll take the songs, the session of the songs, into like a professional studio where it's then worked on, and we kind of make it sound as good as it can. And like a lot of these songs have been like they've been played on the radio. I've had like TV features, and you know, just like I've had kind of quite a lot of success, just like because I'm not signed, I don't have a manager, and I do kind of basically most of it myself. Even to like more recently, because of the like current situation, I've had to film my own music videos. I've just learned how to develop different skills. So as I would develop different skills, learning new instruments, I've developed, you know, how to use editing, like film editing software, you know, how to create, how to like contact people in the industry, how to get onto radio stations and stuff like that. And I think that's the kind of more entrepreneurial side that I've developed, that I've been working on. And again, yeah, I'm always open to like new kind of ideas. I'm always thinking of new things, like maybe new concepts or new video ideas or something like that, just to kind of, you know, provide something a little bit different. And I think now more than ever, it's kind of important to do that, because, you know, everyone's stuck at home really, and the kind of the looking for something to not distract them, but like provide entertainment. And I've been trying to do that as best as I can. But I think like just from that early stage, like where I've always wanted to learn new skills and apply that to what I've already had, because even though like I've had lessons on my individual, like on guitar, piano and drum, on a guitar, piano and cello, whenever I picked up a new instrument from that, I've always used what I've learned to kind of help develop like whatever new skill. So so say like when I'm playing drums, I've never had a drum lesson, but I know I've had music lessons. I know what music feels like. I know what it sounds like, and I know what drums should sound like. So in that way, I'm not coming completely fresh. I have this kind of backlog of information that I've learned in the past through my other instruments that I can apply to a new instrument or a new skill. Because I'd noticed as well, like I mentioned about the film editing software, it's very similar to the music software that I record on. So it was quite easy for me to adapt and learn this new skill. And it's, yeah, I think my whole career is just mainly doing that, adapting and learning new skills. I should also mention as well, I was born deaf. I was born with hearing loss, and I get asked about it a lot, and because in my story it's quite odd, because even though I was born with hearing loss, I wasn't diagnosed until I was around 4 or 5. So I spent much of that early period of my life kind of sort of, you know, well, I didn't really know any different, but I was sort of in my own mind, in my own head, because I couldn't really hear. I could communicate, and I could sort of, what I'd do, I think, I would like say if I was at nursery and a bunch of the kids were given a command, say like, put your toys away, what I'd do to get around that without hearing the command, I would look at what everyone else was doing and just copy them. So I think I probably adapted by doing that. But I thought about it more recently, and it's kind of funny that when I was diagnosed, I was given hearing aids, and it was around that time when I started having this kind of emotion, this feeling towards music. So I think maybe it had opened something in me that I hadn't heard before, and I must have thought it was quite wonderful. And I think I still feel that way about it.
So that's a really good point to introduce one of your singles, James.
Oh yeah.
And I love how you just throw in your experience of being from the deaf community, because I like that people get to know you as a musician first. So we're going to hear now one of my favourite tracks from James.
Do you want me to explain the song?
Yes, please.
All right, okay. Well, yeah, so this song, I think you were referring to, so this song is about my love for music. And like, I kind of dress it up as a love song, but like, really, like if you listen to the words and you kind of think of it from the point of view that this girl is like maybe a musical idea that I have. Like when, say if you have an idea and then you try and grab it, but it kind of sort of drifts away, it floats away from you, and you kind of lose that inspiration. That's what it's about, and it's about trying to recapture that thing that you kind of missed. So yeah, if you want to.
Thank you.
With a pen in my hand, trace a melody line. Then as if she'd known that a tune would be mine. In a level wearing X, the music died away. And you, my mystery girl, every single note that you play, I bet you never knew how you made me feel. How you made me feel. Don't depart. Please forgive me. Man, no harm. And you, my mystery girl, with every single note that you play, I bet you never knew how happy you made me feel. How happy you made me feel. My mystery girl, my mystery girl, my mystery girl, my mystery girl.
That's great. Thank you, James. Great, James. Does anybody have any questions for James?
Thank you, that was amazing.
James, have you been inspired to write recently?
You mean like in terms of like in reaction?
Response to this situation.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that, because I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I've been asked to do a commission by the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, in like the vast like 60 artists. There could be musicians or poets or fine artists or whatever, to make a piece as their response to the crisis, and which I can show you that if you want.
Maybe we end with that one, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
All right, lovely. Okay, thank you so much. Lovely. So right, we're now coming to our health and well-being section of our session today, and we're going to have two quite interesting pieces in the session today. So first of all, if we could hear from Aaron with his words of wisdom, that would be lovely.
Yeah, so this week is Mental Health Awareness Week 2020. And so for myself, I've been thinking a lot about kindness, thinking kindness, speaking kindness, and showing kindness. And there's a proverb, Proverbs 12:25. It says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." And I just love that, because whenever you're feeling anxious, having someone say something kind to you, and it's genuinely kind, it really turns the whole thing around for you. And I had that experience yesterday with a neighbor of mine. We're having some building work done, and a little mishap has nearly caused a bit of unsettling with the neighbor. Thankfully it didn't, but in the midst of it all, I had this proverb running through my head like all day. And so to deal with the issue, I recognized that she's been feeling a bit anxious. She's had a life scare a few months ago and has been on the mend. So anxiety can be quite high in that situation. And so, you know, I thought, you know, the phrase, kill it with kindness, you know, you hear that phrase, kill it with kindness. And so I had an hour-long conversation with my neighbor yesterday over the wall that's missing, but we won't go there. Just approaching it with thinking kind, speaking kind, and showing kindness changed the entire situation. And it put everything at ease, and we're still good neighbors. But you know, it's important to recognize that many times people are going through things, and we have not a clue what's happening inside people's emotions and in their mind, either from experience or what's happening at the moment. But showing kindness does so much to bring healing to someone that's going through mental illness and a mental health issue, but also for yourself. It teaches you how to handle people regardless of what you know or what you don't know.
Brilliant, thank you, that's great. Very wise as always. Now, a little bit differently for this section this week, one of our entrepreneurs is adapting throughout the COVID interruption, and Mary's going to tell us all a little bit about her new business.
What I would like to do actually, I've got over 20 years experience of leading meditation and healing sessions, and with the current situation, I've had the honour of meeting people over the phone and doing sessions with them, and it just feels like the right time to share this. So I don't know if you're going to be able to participate because I can't see you, but I'm going to trust that you will. I just would like to talk about breathing a little bit. Does anybody in the group do breathing specifically during the course of the day at all?
Only the COVID breathing that we're being told to do at the moment. So rather than a meditative breathing, it's more a breathing that they're saying will help us if we, so that's quite an interesting slant on it, isn't it?
Yeah. Does anybody else do meditation or breathing exercises just to keep them centered?
There's a vocal breathing exercise.
Yeah, I do meditation as well.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a healer. Reiki. Yeah, I'm a Reiki master.
Right. Would we like to, as a group, but we don't have to, could we just do a little bit of breathing now then? Would you like to do that?
Yes.
So if we could, I'm going to close my eyes to focus. If we would just put your hands on your diaphragm, because we're going to breathe, and this will be like a vocal breathing or a Reiki breathing or a meditation and maybe a COVID breathing. But if we just put our hands on our diaphragm, and we're going to breathe in through our nose and feel the air go right into the diaphragm. And you'll know that you're doing this because your hands will move. And then just push the air out through your mouth. And we'll just do 3 of these in your own time with your own rhythm. That would be really nice, and we'll feel a sense of calm, centeredness. So I'm going to go, that's 1 breath. 2, and we'll just do one more, 3. And then if you would just take your right hand and place it over your heart. And if you put the left hand on the top of your head, and we're just going to take another 3 lovely deep breaths right into the diaphragm while we hold these centers of energy in our hands. And another one, in through your nose, take the air to your diaphragm and push it out. Lovely, and one more. And then if you bring your hands together as in a prayer and close your eyes, and just for a little while, go to somewhere that's really special for you. And really see yourself in that place where you're safe, where you've experienced something that makes you feel happy. And then if you just put your hands again, one on your heart, and this time one on your forehead. And just do a lovely 3 deep breaths. And again. And one more time. And if you come back into a prayer, I don't know how else to say it, but a prayer hands. And I just want you to think in your head these words: all is well, all is as it should be. And just repeat that: all is well, all is as it should be. And just say that in your head. And I'm just going to talk to you while you're saying that in your head. All is well, all is as it should be. It might not be as we would love it to be. It might not be how it was even just a few months ago, but all is well and all is as it should be, because it is what it is. And we accept that. And it's okay, because now, as we are here together in this virtual world, we're okay. And we're all connected by an energy which hopefully one day in the not too distant future we'll actually physically share. But for now, we can share it over this technology of wonderness. So one last thing, I'm just going to ask you all to put your hands on your diaphragm. And you don't have to breathe deeply now, just breathe. And one last, all is well, all is as it should be. And then when you're ready, we'll just come back and we'll carry on with the lovely Inclusive Entrepreneur session. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Mary. Thank you. That's great. So that's a really exciting new venture for you.
It is.
In response to COVID. So that's really great. And anything we can do to support you in that, we will. That probably today is almost a wrap up for us in terms of the business side of what we're doing in the main, because we're going to move it to a strategy meeting. Does anybody have any specific questions that they have this week? That's good. That's really good. I know you're all dying to find out a little bit more about the access to work thing, but I don't think we can without my reading through it properly and getting the answers for you, that I know the questions I know you're going to ask. It's been lovely to welcome our new members today. It's been great to have James sharing his music with us, something I always thoroughly enjoy. Our colleagues from New York have sent their best wishes and hope that we're all doing well. And what would be really nice this week now is if we could be played out by James's COVID compilation that he's involved with, which would be rather nice to play us out, Sarah. And before we start that, I'd like to just say thank you all so much and look forward to seeing some of you early in the week and some of you next Friday. So thank you.
Good night, my darling, sleep tight. It was nice of you to call me tonight. Time is pulling us apart. And every day that passes breaks my heart. I can't bear to part anymore. Your voice is the highlight of my day. Somehow my feet will grace your floor. Your arms will be the swing. Open door. Though you're far from my embrace, you're hanging on a star deep in space. I still see your face anytime. I could love my eyes anytime you come to my mind. Any day, we'll go
Wow, thank you. That's such an exciting project, James. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.